100 plus miles per hour used to mean something. Remember Joel Zumaya striking out hitters while lighting up the radar guns back in '06? Folks were actually speculating at what speed his arm would actually snap. Well, nowadays it feels like every team has someone striking out hitters while throwing 100 plus, and with crazy movement. Did you see what Johan Duran did to Yordan Alvarez this postseason? Damn. But what if I told you that one of the best relievers in baseball this 2023 season absolutely hits 100 plus, with that crazy movement, consistently, but he doesn't do the one thing that you'd expect him to: strike hitters out. Saddle up, baseball fans! It's time to take a closer look at one Dodger in particular, not just because he's absolutely a good vibe, but because the way he dominates makes no sense at all. But Brusdar Graterol might just be a relief pitching unicorn. Welcome to Good Vibes Baseball. Please consider subscribing if you haven't. I do appreciate you either way. Now let's get into some good vibes, shall we? The 2023 season couldn't have ended much worse for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Swept by your division rivals? Bad vibes. But Brusdar Graterol? He was arguably their best pitcher this postseason. Sure, it lasted all of 3 games, but it's not about his 2 innings this postseason. I'd argue he was the best pitcher on this 2023 Dodgers staff. So, good vibes. In fact, I dare say what he did this season with the Dodgers made him their very own relief pitching unicorn. And no, I do not mean that he became a mythical horse with a horn on its head.
My horn can pierce the sky.
I mean unicorn in the sporting sense. You know, when someone does something really rare or has a rare combo of skills that makes them almost mythological. Wemby in the NBA, for example, certified unicorn. But for Brusdar, it's about what he accomplished in 2023. This season, Brusdar Graterol put up a 4-2 record with a ridiculous 1.20 ERA and 48 strikeouts across 68 games. In fact, he is one of only 4 pitchers, starters or relievers, that pitched at least 50 innings this season and posted an ERA plus over 300. His .363 was good for second behind only Chris Martin, and means he was 263% better than the league average. And again, he was dominant this 2023 postseason as he did not allow a hit in his 2 innings of work. But what's fascinating about Graterol's success, and one thing that makes him a genuine pitching unicorn, is how he does it. He does all of this, routinely hitting 100 plus miles per hour, while he looks like he's lobbing it in there. Seriously. How can someone throw so hard while looking like they're doing so little? But we'll come back to that delivery, don't you worry. But aside from how he does it, one big thing does stand out statistically and screams unicorn. For a flamethrower whose sinker drops an average of 20.4 inches, he doesn't strike many people out. 48 in 67 and a third innings pitched? Kinda weird. But what do the analytics say? Well, this is where we see just how truly perplexing Graterol's success is compared to typically what we know and love. Historically, velocity reigns supreme. Strikeouts and velocity should go hand in hand. Not with Graterol. According to Baseball Savant, we can see this trend. Graterol absolutely shoves. This dude ranks in the 98th percentile in average fastball velocity. This means he throws harder than 98.6% of major league pitchers, which is good for 12th in the league. He also doesn't give up hard contact, with an average exit velocity against in the 87th percentile. You see all of that red? That's good. But dude had a 1.20 ERA this season. This should be like an episode of The Boys, it's so red. But remember that lack of strikeouts? Well, Baseball Savant also calls that out, with him ranking in just the 17th percentile. But his whiff percentage? Woo boy, the bottom 1%. Compared to all of the other pitchers throwing as hard as him, no one comes close to having such a wide difference between velocity and K and whiff percentages. One of the best relievers in baseball, by the numbers, who consistently throws 100 plus, has a lower whiff percentage than 99% of major league pitchers. Okay. So why is this? That's just baseball? Seriously though, I think it's a mix of two things. I mentioned his delivery earlier. That's one. The other is his arsenal and how he uses it. But let's revisit that delivery, shall we? This video is all about Brusdar Graterol, so hopefully by now, you are familiar with his delivery. The one thing that immediately stands out, but I also mentioned it earlier, is how effortless it is. His body is absolutely silent. His delivery is as easy as can be. It looks like he's throwing out the ceremonial first pitch out there. But one thing he doesn't do, hide the baseball. When your body is quiet, the only thing catching my eye as a hitter is that ball. But if that glove is flapping or you've got your arms and legs flying around, it creates deception. Look at Dontrelle Willis's success. Hitters would always comment on how hard the ball would be to see in his delivery. That doesn't happen with Graterol. You are able to see the baseball. Too bad it's coming in at probably 100 miles per hour, could cut to his glove side or sink back into righties away to lefties. You'll probably hit the baseball, as that bottom ranking whiff rate says, but good luck putting solid contact on that ball. Exactly like the analytics tell us. Another call out with his delivery, his extension ranks in the bottom 2%, meaning that the hitter should be able to see the ball for just a moment longer as it leaves his hand from a slightly further distance. So that 100 plus miles per hour sinker, well, it actually plays lower than that. Think about Randy Johnson and how his fastball played faster than the radar guns measured because the ball was actually leaving his hand closer to the hitters. So for Brusdar's case, this can absolutely lead to less swing and miss, but more weak contact. But speaking of that arsenal and using it to induce weak contact, Brusdar Graterol has always had an insane arsenal. He is a pitching ninja staple for a reason. But the way he uses this arsenal is what has led to his success this season. Again, using the data from our friends over at Baseball Savant, we can see that Brusdar uses a 4-pitch mix to get results. Now, 3 of these pitches are variations on the fastball, with his sinker being thrown 43.6% of the time. This sinker might be the reason we see the numbers that we do. He throws it hard at an average of 98.6 miles per hour, good for 5th among pitchers with at least 750 pitches this season. But his sinker actually doesn't move more or less than the league average. It's still the 5th fastest average sinker in the league, with an average of 20.4 inches of vertical movement and 16.6 inches of horizontal run, but it's not a strikeout getter. His 4-seamer, cutter, and slider all also follow this similar pattern. They are fast, but don't necessarily move more than league average. If anything, we see his pitches moving a little bit less than league average. His cutter was the 4th fastest in the league with an average of 95.6, but in today's game, velocity alone is not going to strike people out. How he uses this arsenal, it matters. Some pitchers, well, they pitch to contact. Some pitchers prefer to tunnel pitches in hopes of getting a hitter to swing and miss at a pitch out of the zone. To each their own. For Brusdar, he followed the more traditional mix of sinkers into righties, away to lefties, cutters the opposite, with sliders low and away to righties, down and into lefties, and 4-seamers high in the zone to change up that eye level. It's textbook pitching. And if you can locate, combined with the rare velocity, soft contact is going to be your specialty. This is what we saw this season and what the analytics are telling us. We love it when the eye test and the data agrees. So what does this all mean? Is this just one random trend in the grand scheme of one really good season? Or is this more? Is Brusdar Graterol officially a relief pitching unicorn? Well, based on the historical data, it really does feel like Graterol is just learning how to pitch and use his arsenal in the best way possible. He has never been a strikeout pitcher. These numbers, they're not new. In 2022, he only struck out 43 batters in 49 2/3 innings. In 2021, 27 33 1/3 innings pitched. But he's consistently gotten better as his workload has increased. So next season, I expect more of the same. If anything, I look for Graterol's numbers to be slightly worse as he has hopefully used more. His fielding independent pitching, or FIP, was 3.03 this season. His defense was great behind him in 2023. But are the Dodgers really going to be worse defensively in 2024? I fully expect them to make a splash this offseason. This should only help Brusdar. He's on a team that only wants to win. His delivery is simple and repeatable. His arsenal is something that pitchers dream of having, and he's only going to continue to learn how to use it more effectively. The numbers? Well, they may not make any sense, but one thing they absolutely do, they make him a relief pitching unicorn. Thanks so much, guys. That's going to do it for the video today, baseball fans. I do appreciate you all. Please consider subscribing if you haven't. Please be sure to check out our other videos. I do appreciate you either way. But until next time, baseball fans, cheers!